welcome to the spoiler section. Today, we're talking Doctor Strange. When we sort of left off in the spoiler-free section, we were talking a little bit how this movie reminded you of Iron Man 1.
Yes.
And I thought this would be the best place to sort of dive in there because I feel like while it's very similar to Iron Man 1, it misses some of the best stuff about Iron Man 1. Because we have like the really successful rich guy who has a downfall.
Gets in an accident.
Yeah, and this one it's a car accident, and the original Tony's like kidnapped. Now the thing that this is missing is Tony, like the thing that made Iron Man 1 work so well was Tony finding his own weapons and like that he is responsible for all of these other things that are horrible. Strange doesn't have any of that baggage. He just can't use his hands. So it's his motivation is much less like it transformative, I would say, than Iron Man's. And that like lacking that element but keeping the structure makes it feel more hollow than Iron Man 1 to me personally. Now this, again, it's not a bad movie, but we're just, talking. In the original comic, I was curious watching it. Does he ever heal his hands in the comic?
Well, depends on which
origin.
Yeah.
But for the most part, that is a storyline that once it reaches to a certain point where he discovers or he's evolved a little bit and he discovers that his duty and responsibility is to protect the world from interdimensional, interplanar,
Stuff.
danger. It's like, oh, a surgeon? I totally forgot about that. Pretty much down the line,
Makes
like
sense.
I have more responsibilities.
Power
There
magic.
are some points where it dips into like what ifs. And if he was able to, fix it with magic, what would have happened?
Yeah.
Things like that. But for the most part, it's just like how they say in the movie, how they show in the movies. It's he's come to a point where he realizes that he has a greater purpose than to, just be a surgeon. Not to say that surgeons are not, a real people.
We
who
love
help
you.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yes,
surgeons
thank you for fixing
100%
people.
the best.
Yes, thank
But
you.
See, and this is part of why the Tony Stark thing doesn't work. Being a guy who sold weapons to terrorists versus being a guy who saved people already.
It's a huge.
just-
Well, okay. While I know you make that comparison, his origin story is from 40 years
Oh,
ago,
yeah,
man.
no,
It's just
absolutely.
the thing is, I mean, you're gonna have to tell that story, right? So,
Yeah.
I think it would be more comparing apples and oranges kind of thing,
Yeah.
where it's more about an internal, realization for him, as opposed to somewhat physically going through a transformation like for Tony Stark.
Here's one of the main criticisms I've seen of the film, is that it's about an arrogant guy who gets in a car wreck, finds out he's better at something else, and remains an arrogant guy.
Oh no.
Yeah. I don't see that as a criticism. That's the character.
He really. Yeah. No. I agree with that.
that is his main struggling story arc for huge amounts of comic book line is that he's dealing with that problem, just like how Tony Stark deals with his alcoholism and his arrogance and those kinds of things. They are kind of parallel in dealing with those internal issues.
I will say this though, that argument is it's a small point of view on it because you have to add in all the other stuff that's going on. But I do agree that it is about this arrogant guy still being arrogant. I mean, but I would say that there's other stuff building on top of that.
Yeah, I mean,
And they address that in the movie
so it's
too.
a small
he does
view
take
of it.
one step forward, which allows him to open up his magic abilities
Right.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think asking for with the way that Marvel Cinematic Universe is established, asking for the one big thing that is developed or evolved in the character after so many issues, asking for that to be resolved in the origin movie
Sure.
is I think that's
That's
expecting a little too much.
Yeah,
But
that's a lot to ask.
just as a movie, what would just usually there's more of a change to the character at their core. I feel like this was just a change in the way that he expresses his worldview. Before it was getting rich and doing surgery, now it's doing magic and being in control of everything. Which is totally good setup.
Well, I think that point is hammered in to the character, and as the audience, we get to see that because there's all those realization points, especially when the villain essentially just spews back the exact same dialogue that Strange gave to the Ancient.
Sure.
And there's just like that pause where he goes, "Ah, damn,
Man,
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
not as right as I wanted.
I gotta fix that."
Yeah.
So and I think that's what I enjoy most about the character is, well, yeah, he's really good at everything, and it's him trying to struggle with that, and do the right thing.
There's that part at the end where he finds out that the Ancient One is using that dark magic to stay alive, and she says that, that guy that broke his back was paralyzed. He used it, and he had that realization that I could use this magic to fix my hands.
Right.
But he didn't. He didn't.
Well, I wish that was a hard choice, though. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like, hey,
they kind
do you wanna
of
be
just
a
pushed it
surgeon,
along.
Or do you
They
want to
should
be a
have gave it a
super
little
magical
bit more.
magician in charge of keeping evil from the world?
Well, no.
What a difficult struggle
It
that
is a difficult struggle. No, think about it. How much responsibility is that? Now, we love superhero movies.
Right.
Yeah.
We identify with superheroes. We love to have their powers and do the right thing and everything like that.
Yeah.
But if you think about it from a reality standpoint,
Right.
like these are real people.
With great
people,
power comes great
They
responsibility.
don't want the responsibility. People don't want to do anything if they don't have to.
We're lazy shits.
Yeah. So to ask that question, like, do you want to have to be responsible for being single-handedly responsible for stemming the tide of ultimate real evil from destroying your world? Or you can just be a super rich, awesome, everybody loves you because you saved their life, fixed their brain.
You're
guy.
missing a component of this argument, though, because you're missing or would you rather leave it to someone else? And that's where Strange is like, it's not going to be a difficult choice for him, because he's like, what's that? Control or power? Please, yes, I'll do that. You, that's enough from you now. I will say, I am being harsh. I did enjoy the scene where we're in the Sanctum Sanctorum in New York, where he kills a guy and he's just like not okay with that.
Yeah.
And he's like one of my favorite lines in the movie was like, "You have to kill them." He's like, "You lack imagination." I'm like,
yes.
Well, he is a doctor. They
yes.
they take an oath thing.
Oh,
and,
man.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And,
Yeah, and when someone dies on your table, that's like a huge like gap in your heart. So
I guess that's why the Cape had to kill so many people. The Cape bashing that guy's head against the wall.
Oh,
I'm just
that
like,
was
this
great.
is savage. Like, oh, man.
I love that cape.
Well, if you,
I was torn on
that
the
cape had a lot of personality.
I was torn on the Cape because I love that the Cape's sort of like a little bit of comic relief and stuff,
Uh-huh.
but it really undercuts some moments hard. Like when he's fighting Mads Mikkelsen and he's trying to grab like an axe or something and it stops. Like that bit, I was like,
It went a
that's
little
funny.
long.
And then it just keeps going.
Yeah.
And then when he's really sad, I think it's right after the Ancient One dies, and like he's like stealing himself,
yeah,
and then it
and
wipes the tear
cape
from it, and he's
wipes
like,
the tear.
"Don't do that." And it's like they either needed to like let it wipe it, and then it'd be cool, like he moves forward, but like having to like,
Yeah.
you know,
it just it's not bad. It's not. it's just,
I'm gonna have to disagree.
I kind of like
I'm
it.
gonna disagree. The reason why is it clearly shows how Strange would deal with that kind of emotion. It's actually introspective of what goes on in his emotional state. Oh, something really horrible happened? I gotta compartmentalize this. I think it's more of a metaphor than
but it's
anything
like an
else.
exterior character. It's very clearly its own character. It's not.
No, that's very true. But I think the intention is to, okay, I don't want to deal with this. It's too real. Let me close myself off, and they just use the cape to provide that.
To me,
Either that, or I'm totally film student like overanalyzing it, which is totally possible. But I'd like to see it that way.
for me,
You can see it.
for me, I was watching it like, oh, right, Groot was cute. We need a
Groot
cute
is
thing in
so
this
adorable.
movie. I guess the cape works. Is this cape alive in the comic?
Yes.
Well, it's got that magic quality.
It is.
So
okay.
I mean, does it have a beating heart? Like,
I mean, okay,
has a
so
personality.
most
I'll
most
stick
of the
with that.
magic items in that universe have some sort of will. I'll
okay.
describe it
Yeah.
that way.
Okay.
Well, you
so
can
it's like
see
the
that
One Ring
will.
or something.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, I would not say that the cape was like Spawn's cape, where it's just like, dude, what you doing?
Oh, it totally was
Let me make
Spawn.
whatever you need, dude. You know.
Oh,
Totally
God, I would
was
love
like
to
a
see
riff
that.
on Spawn's cape. It's like Spawn's cape's little adorable brother.
But Doc Strange came first, so it's the
Oh,
other
yeah,
way
it's the other
around.
way- absolutely.
Because the order matters.
Totally.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does.
Let's see. Is there anything you guys wanted to talk about? Any other plot points?
Like
Anything?
spoilers?
The
Yes,
Infinity
totally
Stones.
spoilers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
the
probably
Infinity
like the most
Stones.
important connection,
Yeah.
The
which
Eye
is
of Agamotto?
Yeah, that's
Agamotto.
the fifth one we
Agamotto.
found. We have one left. The Eye of
Agamotto.
Agamotto was the Stone of Time, and all we have left is the Stone of Souls.
Which, now, in the comics, the Eye of Agamotto is not an Infinity Stone.
That is correct.
It's just this sort of catch-all. Whenever Steven really needs to get out of a bind, he's like, all right, I guess I'll use the Eye of Agamotto.
well,
Turning back
think of
time.
it like here. I'll use a D&D reference. Think of it as you're a very low-level character starting out in a giant world of
Right.
like high-level things.
Mm-hmm.
I need like some serious magic mojo to
Right.
balance it out.
So it's like a level 100 item.
Well, no. You're let's say you're fighting level 15 to 20, and you're like level 6. It's probably like a 10th level item. You know, just keep you alive long enough.
I always got the impression that it was some sort of like just God mode. It can do whatever.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
no.
no, that's the impression that I
It could
got.
never do that, but it does help him. He does rely on it because it is like his go-to
Mm-hmm.
thing.
And so, how do you feel about them changing that to an Infinity Stone?
In the way that the MCU is set up, it works great.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what I was going to say too.
And we've seen enough deliberate changes and are told that this is a completely different universe, which is
Right.
why I'm totally fine with it. Other comic book movies get it wrong, but yes, because we're told that this is a completely separate parallel universe. Minor changes are going to be happening, things like that, and they've established that the Infinity Stones, the Infinity War, the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos, all of that stuff is everything's coming to a head with that. I really agree that that's a good choice. Plus, it means we'll get more Doc Strange than just the one movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Which was,
projected to be in the Avengers, the next one that's coming
Oh,
out.
and he's
Yeah.
in Thor Ragnarok.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
Post credit scene.
Post-credits.
Yeah.
Hang out for that. You
Yeah,
see
don't
very,
leave the theater.
Very tired Thor. It's like, oh god, yeah, whatever,
Yeah.
man.
Although he liked getting that extra beer.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
say that.
Oh,
He was pretty happy about that.
That's true. It's probably made the whole trip worth it. To go talk to him. It's like, oh, let me talk to you. Oh.
Back to the Eye of Agamotto, because one of the things when I heard they were making a Doctor Strange movie, I was like, it's always been hard to really get his power set solidified. Like, what can Strange do, and what can't he do? More importantly, because there's a lot of Strange stories that end with him going, like, opening a book and be like, oh, that, and then But I like that the Eye of Agamotto is like the Time Stone, so we have a very definite power set for what it can do.
Yeah.
And that means it's also going to be like taken away soon, because anytime you have a power that's involved with time, it's like, oh yeah, why don't you just go back? Like, I mean, there's so many stories that have been destroyed by time.
This is
travel.
true. This is true.
Doctor Strange.
I think
Doctor Who. Very.
Oh, Harry Potter. Like,
I think
Potter.
they did establish early on.
Yeah.
You know, so when he gets caught by the librarian, it's like, no, you fool! You're breaking it. You're causing bad things to happen. Stop it.
no.
And at the end, he's just like, oh man, lesser of two evils. rules, man.
I guess this is better than Dormammu being here, but I guess there's no but. It's fine.
However.
Yeah, I like
Which
that it's...
sets up the reason why you have the new villain.
Yeah, well, and I like that it's hung on the wall very, like, in case of emergency.
In case
that's not your go.
Break glass.
That's no longer your go-to.
Yeah.
That's like, okay.
Now it's the cape and the whip. How did you guys feel about the whip? Do you like
As
it?
I like pretty much all of the magic that's used. I think the magic shield / saw blades of protection and attack are way cooler than waka. But I always see that as, hey, I'm a beginner, and no, now I'm a badass kind of thing.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That's how I saw it.
I liked when he couldn't.
And I gotta do this kind of.
There was yeah, I guess we're sort of closing in on it, but the pacing for me in this movie, like the movie is paced like a hurricane. It's so fast. I kind of wish that there was some stuff they were able to sort of pare down and give the movie a little bit of room to breathe. How did you guys feel about the pacing? Did you think it was...
I thought the pacing was okay. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I thought the pacing was great. There wasn't anything that I thought should be slowed down a bit. However, I love especially in the Marvel's universe, when the superhero is like in training a bit to get a little bit more like background and like in their training. I mean, that Everest scene, that was great.
That was cool.
That was awesome. I mean, that's a great punishment / training thing.
Motivation.
Near-death motivation. So I wish there would have been just a little bit more, and that would have been a great time to give us backstory on the Ancient One, which they did.
Yeah,
but
I didn't think they wanted to spend too much on the Ancient One because
they didn't want to.
Because I mean, even in the comic books,
she's a mystery.
Right.
Yeah,
the Ancient One is there to enable Doctor Strange to become, Sorcerer Supreme. Sure. Though they did throw out the whole balance that is the Ancient One and the Sorcerer Supreme. Right. So that whole backstory of how that position is a magical part of the magical cosmology, that there is an Ancient One and a Sorcerer Supreme kind of thing. So they kind of glossed over that. Maybe we'll learn more of that in another movie.
That'd be cool.
But I thought that part of the backstory. I love world building. So anytime they do world building, and I agree, if they showed a little more of the training montage kind of thing, they could have used that as an opportunity.
Exactly.
What I would have like to see a little more, like I said, with the world building, is to learn more specifically about Dormammu.
Sure.
Because
all we know.
I mean, they told him that he's a super powerful entity, pretty much controls this entire dimension, and he's trying to destroy Earth. But why do all the evil magical things of all the other dimensions want to destroy Earth specifically?
Yeah.
So that I would like to know a little more about that.
Which I think they have room for that.
Having it in another movie, I suppose, is fine, but I want to know it all now.
You gotta wait. You gotta wait. Be patient.
Just do it like Lord of the Rings. Film them back to back.
Oh, no. Let's not get into that. We'll be here for hours, especially with me here.
The only thing I think I would have, like, pacing wise, liked was I thought there were moments that comedy played in and sort of undermined some stuff that was going on, especially with the library. Like, this is like the most powerful spell library of all time, and he's just like porting in and grabbing whatever he wants, and he's messing with the guy, and I'm like, are they putting up with this right now? Or are they just like, Steven, I can't believe you did that. I can't. That was like humor. There's again where humor sort of undercuts the tone a little bit. For me, that's like the humor in this movie. Like they're funny jokes. They're great.
They're
like
hard.
Little moments, but they tend to come at times where like I was sort of into other things that were happening. And I was like, oh yeah, that joke, yeah. Anyway, back to the other thing that was happening.
I see the decision that they made with putting in that much comedy was because they clearly designed the pace based around a need. The story was essentially a story of the main character being, or the main problem being a harried kind of thing. So the hero or the team is harried by this. They have an ultimate deadline.
Right.
You know, if they don't stop him before this, everything goes, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you have that kind of storyline, I think to keep the pace up without just being,
Right.
you know. So I think the levity was to give that breathing room that you're looking for.
See, I just, because usually when people tell me like, oh, the Marvel formula, I'm like, whatever. They make great movies. Like, shut up. But this one, I started to feel a lot like it started to feel more formulaic. Like I had it was similar to Ant-Man, where I felt like there were moments in Ant-Man. Like I love Ant-Man. Ant-Man's one of my favorite heroes. I loved the movie. I thought it was great. But there were moments in it that felt very like perfunctory or very part of like a style. Like there's like a style guide somewhere that's like every X number of minutes there must be a joke. Make sure there's a cute sidekick.
There is.
Yeah, and like,
there is one from like 60 years ago.
yeah. Well, where I feel like a lot of those things worked for Ant-Man, where like, oh, he needs a cute sidekick. The ant. I loved that ant. That ant. I had emotions when that ant got taken out. And yeah, but and then so the cape in this one, but I felt like this was for Strange specifically. I felt like some of those formula moments were a little dissonant because Strange is just such a different type of hero.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true, and I can agree with that for the most part. I think if we see. Like again, it comes back down to this being an origin story version of the movie.
Yeah.
But I think what I'd really like to see is have those times where you have a very important, dramatic Strange, where
Right.
he's dealing with the, okay, I have to make sacrifice to do with this. Just like for an example, best example I think is when Strange has to come to the decision to use an obviously evil power. This is from the comics now.
Sure.
And give up, and sort of like go full circle, give up his hands to try and stave off the oncoming onslaught that is the Hulk in Planet Hulk.
That could be gnarly.
I know this is, of course, a useless action by him, but yeah, he has to do this really gut-wrenching decision to do it. And I want to see a few more of those.
Yeah. Because like Guardians has moments like that.
Exactly.
And we may get those.
Yeah.
Like
but
later on.
There's proof that it can work in the formula. It just feels strange that they didn't that it didn't play in this movie as much. Maybe it's like, I mean, James Gunn is low budget. He's used to being like, limitations, great. And maybe that's why he's excelling in the Marvel universe, where some other people have struggled, like Edgar Wright and Ant-Man and stuff. There's been multiple articles like, is there room for auteurs in the Marvel universe?
Right.
And I think this is where sort of you see it clashing with the director here, whereas it worked better for James Gunn.
Yeah, and I think they definitely attempt to put those, or at least that kind of storyline in, and that was the McAdams character.
Yeah.
And there was no need for that.
No need for that character. You want to talk about something to cut?
No.
Yeah, if there was one glaring thing for me, is I didn't feel any of that.
She's the Natalie Portman.
Yeah, no.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that, but that's a pretty good analogy.
still
Don't get
be
me
the
wrong,
exact same
I
story.
love the actresses.
Both great actresses.
Both great actresses, but and for the most part, like the inclusion, but in this particular movie, didn't need that.
You take her out, it's pretty much the exact same story.
Yeah.
There's no reason for it.
Maybe-
And they didn't even play with the love thing that much.
No.
Anyway, I mean, there was just a couple
Yeah,
shots of the watch.
there wasn't enough.
I mean-
I think she was
set up
honestly
for that.
there for a comic reference where he's sitting in on the surgery for himself.
Yeah,
which
there was.
is another moment that you're like, you didn't need to do that, because it's sort of Prometheus, where like a stab wound really hurts until like, oh wait, there's stuff to do, and then but yeah, we are running really long today, so we'll wrap it up. Last thoughts? Anything you wanted to get out? And we'll do repeat your recommend, don't recommend, in case somebody jumps right to here instead of watching the other.
All right. Well, I recommend it. Fantastic movie. Like I said, fantastic cast. Absolutely beautiful. And like we were talking, I'm really looking forward to see what else they're going to do with the Avengers and the Marvels, and hopefully get to see more Doctor Strange. Yeah, recommend it.
Great. Jimmy?
Yeah, total recommend. Go ahead and watch this movie if you, for any real reason, really. I think you'll enjoy the special effects. Cumberbatch is great. The action is great. Overall, I'd say definite solid recommend. But like we said before, watch it in 3D.
Yes.
And if you want, or if you can, maybe tomorrow, West Coast, Best Coast, you can see it,
See it West Coast style if you want. Real Portland type show
right now.
Non-Portland,
Yeah.
sorry.
So yeah, to follow that, I would definitely agree with everything that's been said so far. This movie's very much sort of light entertainment. Now that I think about it, it's like your quintessential popcorn film. There's nothing to really complain about unless you really dig into it, like we sort of did. But this movie might leave you with like a feeling of like
There was that something.
so close to good, but it was good, but there was something. And that's mostly because it's not really aiming to be much more than sort of hollow.
Yeah,
so,
what it showed us.
it accomplishes everything it sets out to do. I'll say that. But it doesn't aim very high. So, yeah, it's a solid movie that, again, won't blow your mind. So that's all for Stubtown today. Remember, if you want to ever join a crew for Stubtown or be on the show, just email us at contact@psu.tv. We train on all of our equipment. It's a great place to get some experience, and anyone who's a student is welcome to join. So you can either email us again at contact@psu.tv or find us in the sub-basement of the Smith Memorial Student Union. That's it for today. I'm TJ Hunt.
I'm Jordan Marvin Battersby.
And I'm Dormammu, ruler of the Dark Realm.
Still going.
It's still
There we
still
go.